Hello HEMA friends and welcome to this new video. Following the problems I experienced with copyright scammers, which you probably already know, I had to erase from this material plane 2 out of 3 of my 4 cuts drills videos. So instead of trying to fix them out and re-upload them as they were, I decided to make a single video which comprehends all the 3 versions of the form, which is far more convenient as it lets you access all the 3 versions of the form all together. In this first part of the video, I will show and explain the standard version of the drill. Enjoy! As you can see, the form contains 6 different techniques, plus a start and an ending position with the sword kept in a resting position. Very good, let's analyze it bit by bit. First, we start in our resting position, sword held by the pommel resting on our left shoulder. From here, we drop into dented cengiar, stepping with our right foot forward. From here, we launch a reverso sottano with the false edge, meant to beat aside the opponent's sword, stepping forward with an accrescere of the right foot. We then come back with a mandrito fendente meant to hit the opponent, which goes back into posta di dented cengiar. The second technique is similar but different. We launch another reverso sottano with the false edge, but this time we step forward and possibly slightly sideways with our left foot, while landing a half reverso fendente which stops either in breve or in the longa position. In our third technique, we launch a low thrust which covers the right side, moving forward with an accrescere of the left foot. We stop the thrust halfway, as it is meant as a feint to move the opponent away from its guard, ideally a low one, changing it fluidly into a mandrito sottano meant to cut under the opponent's exposed arms. The cut is executed by stepping forward with our right foot, which makes us land into a left posta di finestra quadrant. Our fourth technique is defensive. We lower the tip of our sword and we parry an imaginary reverso in our posta di donna altera, while stepping backward with the right foot, landing a reverso fendente in the meantime, either to cover or to harm the opponent, landing again in a breve-like position in front of our right hip. Our imaginary opponent attacks again, but this time from his right side, so we go for a parry in frontale, moving our back foot, the right one, backward during the parry, and landing a reverso sottano with the true edge, the filo dritto, under its arms. We defend from the last imaginary attack, which comes again to harm us on our left side, by leaving the point hang toward the ground, holding the sword with our right hand while intercepting the opponent's sword. We then go for a grab with our left hand, either for the blade, crossguard, hand or arm depending from the situation. We free our sword with a mezzano for the face, while moving backward with a decrescere. We then thrust the opponent underneath the arms, completing the last technique. We then recover the foot in our starting position, letting the sword rest over our left shoulder. Very good, this is the drill. I decided to call it the 4 cuts, simply because I wanted to put together a series of techniques to train the 4 main cuts which can be used with every kind of sword, the two-edge fendenti and the sottani. In fact, you can actually use this drill to train yourself in the use of almost every two-handed sword, from longsword to kriegmesser to katanas and so on. with a great exception made for huge swords, which needs to stick to specific dynamics. Very good. So this second part of the video is about the mirrored version of the standard form. Every cut, thrust and parry is mirrored in this version. This makes you able to train 12 actions with these two simple forms. Again, I will show the form first and then explain it later in detail. Enjoy! Very good. So if you have the previous form in mind, this one will be pretty simple to learn. Everything works in the same way, just on the other side. So, we start in Porta di Ferro, and we land a false edge mandrito sottano meant to beat away the opponent's sword, moving forward with an aggressor motion in the meantime, and we instantly cut back into the opening with a reverso fendente. Finding ourselves again in Porta di Ferro, we start again with our mandrito sottano with the false edge, and we cut into the opening this time with a mandrito fendente, moving forward with a full step. Our previous fendente stopped close to the center line. From there, we launch a feinted thrust in long, and we charge a reverso sottano to cut the opponent underneath his arms, again moving forward with a full step while doing so. From here, we defend our left side with the weapon held high with the tip hanging down, while charging a mandrito fendente in the process, moving backward with a full step this time. Our sword lands again close to the center line. Feeling the need to parry on the right side, we step backward with a aggressor motion, an half step backward, moving the backward foot first and then following with the other one. We parry with the true edge while doing so, and we answer with a mandrito sottano underneath the arms. This part here is tricky to execute, but unlocks some really important skills. Having landed our mandrito sottano in left posta di finestra, we held under the pressure of the opponent's sword while using the left hand to grab the opponent's arm or arms in a tor di spada mezzano or soprano. We execute a tutta volta by pulling down our sword to disarm the opponent, and we finish the form in right posta di donna, threatening our imaginary opponent. So, this is the second form I decided to share with you. 5 largo actions and a stretto one as in the first form, but everything starting and ending on the opposite line. What was on the outside now is on the inside, and so on. Very good. Now I will finally unite the two forms into a single giant flow drill, which you can theoretically speaking practice till you feel tired or till you make an error. First of all, I will show you the drill in its entirety, and then I will analyze the two actions which I had to change to make the flow drill out of the two forms. Okay, so if you have seen both my previous video on the topic, link in the description by the way, you have probably noticed that what is missing are the two stretto actions, which are in a sense the two actions which break the flow. So, in the place of the first stretto action, namely the sword grab, which concludes the first drill, we have instead to land a roverso fendente, which will arise from the ending position of our previous roverso sottano, and will land in porta di ferro or coda longa, from which we will start the second section of the drill. The other action to modify is, again, the last one of the mirrored form I posted some days ago. Instead of the tor di spada from the ending position of our mandrito sottano, we launch a mandrito fendente which ends in dente de zangiare. You can land both the actions with an half step backward, which will make you go back to the starting position of the drill. As you probably noticed, the two ending actions now are perfectly specular, as any other action of the two versions of the drill, which makes them easy to remember. So, again, here I go through the second version of the drill, and where the tor di spada was, bam, I launch my mandrito fendente into dente de zangiare. I instantly start from there the first version of the drill, and instead of the sword grab, bam, roverso fendente into porta di ferro. And then I start again from the beginning, and so on, and so on. Very good people, we are at the end of this Frankenstein monster video. I hope you will find it good and most importantly useful anyway. Remember that if you want to support me, you can of course like and subscribe to the channel, or if you want to support me directly and receive more of my content in exchange, join my Patreon community. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching and, as always, see you next time.